Hello, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. This is Lily Arguello. We're going to start in a moment. Sorry, I'm starting a little late here. Just a little housekeeping. We're going to be interacting through the chat box or the question box. And can you send me a note that you can hear me, please? Just send me a quick note that you can hear me. Great, thanks. Thank you. I see that you can hear me. Can you see my screen? It should say welcome all members as a slide. Again, just checking in, making sure you can see things correctly. Great. Okay. So it's a rainy Valentine's Day, so thank you so much for joining me. For those who've joined today, I know things come up, and so I really appreciate that you're here with me today. We're going to spend approximately 45 minutes together. I want to make this as interactive as possible, but to keep the interruptions under control, I have you all on mute. So please, I will be hesitating from time to time to make sure that I've answered any questions, but feel free to ask any questions through the chat box or through the question area whenever you like, and they should pop up for me. So that's that. Again, please be as interactive as you like, and I'll be checking in from time to time. So for those who like to engage and who have questions, etc., I am going to either give a trivia question at the end of this webinar and or kind of select on my own who's been the most interactive during the webinar. And I have this, this is my last two PIHRA Padfolios I'm going to give out. So I'm giving one out today. So whoever I either responds to my question the quickest through the chat box, or whoever is the most engaged, kind of I'm leaving that up to me, and I'll make that decision at the end of the webinar, will get this beautiful Padfolio mailed to you. So let's get started. By the way, I am recording this webinar, so if you miss anything or you want to pass something on to a colleague, you'll be able to do that. I'll also don't worry about taking notes on things that are on the slides, as I will be distributing a PDF of the slides within half an hour after the webinar is completed, so you don't have to worry about jotting down any details, but again, I do encourage you to ask as many questions as you like. All right, so let me introduce myself again a little bit. So I'm in the middle. My name is Lily Arguello. I'm the membership manager here at PIHRA, and I really enjoy working with all our members. And someone recently asked me, what do I enjoy most about my work? And I think it's really when I speak to a member who comes to me with some sort of challenge, professional challenge, and I'm able to point them in a direction that's helpful, and they come back, after, kind of investigating further, and they say, thank you so much. Thank you for helping me get to the next place in my career. So I think that's what really motivates me about being here. So on the left of the slide is Dylan Robertson. He's actually, his title has changed, so I apologize in advance. He's now the chair of the membership committee at the board level. I work really closely with him. The reason his position changed is that we recently went through a board restructure, and so his title changed to chair of the membership committee, but he's still accessible at this number, and I will revise the email address here because the email address has changed. It's membership chair PIHRA.org. And before I send it out to you, I'll change that. So he's a volunteer leader at PIHRA. That's going to be important. I'm going to be talking about volunteer leadership throughout this presentation. We couldn't do it without our volunteer leaders. Our board is volunteer, so our governance is volunteer-led. We do have a staff of around 10. I think we're hiring someone that'll make us 10 staff members here in Gardena, but we couldn't do it without, we couldn't manage our 17 chapters and the entire organization without our volunteer leaders. So that is a benefit for me to our members, is that you have an opportunity to practice your leadership skills here and hone some of those things that you'd like to hone to help you in your own career. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that. Elisette Sapian is on the right. She's my membership coordinator. She's definitely my right hand. She usually joins me for these presentations and webinars, but unfortunately she is out. And fortunately for her, she's on vacation. So we do believe in, in having our staff go out on vacation. So she's going to be the first person usually that you speak to. So if you can't find me or you need to reach someone quickly, because I'm at the office or at a conference, Elisette Sapian is your go-to person. And again, we're really accessible. Feel free to call us at any time. But for me, email is the best. I usually get back to people pretty quickly, and my goal is to get back to people within 24 hours. But a lot of times I get back to you right away in the same day, because I am looking at my email constantly. So that's a great way to get a hold of me. All right. So what does PIHRA do? What's our mission? So in our restructure, we actually also talked about our mission. And so this has been slightly revised from the past. And we exist to engage, elevate, and serve human resource professionals in California through innovative programming, professional development, and high-impact networking opportunities. And basically what that translates into is that we are the largest HR community in the nation. So we are, again, the largest local HR community in the nation. So through PIHRA and our 17 chapters, you'll be able to meet HR professionals face-to-face. Our programming, we'll be talking about our legal update, which just occurred in January. We have people all over the nation and even some international folks coming in to watch our, go through the seminar, the legal update seminar. And our California HR conference is just one of the best HR conferences on the West. And I'll tell you more about that. So I know that my members have come to me and said, I've made lifelong relationships through PIHRA. And that's what we mean by high impact, that you'll be able to find your HR board of directors, or as some of our volunteer leaders say, your HR Fab Five superhero. Those people that you're able to call when you have a dilemma at the workplace, and you can confide in them and share experiences and help each other that way. So that's who we are, and that's our mission. A little overview about PIHRA. So I already said we are volunteer-led, and we actually started out in 1944. A group of personnel managers got together and said, what's the future of managing personnel and human resources, which I don't know if they called it human resources back then. They probably called it industrial relations or personnel. But they decided to get together and decide, what was the future? How did people need to be educated to be successful in the career in HR? And, what sort of credentials or certifications would people need to be successful? So they got together, and their first meeting was in presentation where I like to say we were established before SHRM. SHRM, I believe, was established in 1948, somewhere in the Midwest, by a group who had the same initiative in mind to think about the future of the profession and how people needed to obtain information and knowledge to be successful. All right, I see a hand up, so I'm going to pause for a second and just make sure I answer these questions. Let's see. So if you have your hand up, if you could put a question in the question box. If you weren't here at the beginning, we are, I don't see your question, so maybe I need to look a little further, but I don't see another question. So anyway, if you do have a question, please put it in the chat box or the question box, and I'll pause and answer it. All right, so who are these people on the screen? So these are our fearless leaders. So Patty Ann Sprinkle is also a volunteer leader. She's the 2019 president of the PIHRA Board of Directors. She has 30 years of experience as an HR professional, and she recently retired and is excited to give back to PIHRA now that she has some more time. She's been a chapter chair, and she was a chapter chair for many years in the Antelope Valley, and I really credit her for pushing through a strategic planning process in the last year or two, and pulling together the board and the membership to think about how we can reorganize ourselves to maximize our success and growth in the future. So she's very accessible. She's someone you'll see at our seminars and conferences, so feel free to always reach out to her if you'd like to. I can pass that information on to you. Also on this side is Rafael Rivera. He's our executive director. He is staff, so I work under Rafael. He has extensive experience with developing associations and top-notch conference programming, and I really credit him for taking PIHRA to the next level, not just in terms of growth of leadership, of membership, but also of the California HR Conference, which used to be called the PIHRA Annual Conference. So he helped rebrand that, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that, but that's a phenomenal conference and one of the highlights of my year. So that's kind of in a nutshell who PIHRA is. You might be curious as to who our members are, and let's see if I could forward you to the next slide here. It's not working. Okay, so who are our members? Our members, we have, these are statistics from 2018, so I need to update these. So now we have over 4,300 members. They represent approximately 2,400 to 2,500 companies. Right around 40% of our members are at the HR manager or HR generalist level. 24% are at the HR director and above level. 35.5% of our members are HR certified, either through HRCI, which is the certification agency, or SHRM, which also offers a certification. They began offering the SHRM CP and SHRM SCP in 2015. So being certified is important to our members. Most, if not all, of our programs at the chapter level and our overall association seminars and chapters are approved for recertification credit. So if you are certified and want to recertify, you'll be able to get those credits through our offerings. The top industries represented by our members are the manufacturing industry, consulting industry, and healthcare. So yeah, that's a little bit about who our members are. I see a question, so I'm going to pause for a second and see if I can pull this question out. Okay. So Annie, thank you, Annie. She asks, which certification provider do you prefer and why? So I am not certified, so I don't really have that experience of being able to share with you who I prefer or not. I could share a little bit of information with you on what I hear in the marketplace about the two different certifications. So hrci.org, I encourage you to visit their site. HRCI has been around for 40 years, and they were actually established by SHRM back then. And so just due to the length of time they've been in the marketplace with the SPHR, the PHR, the PHR California, and there's several other certifications that they offer, it is my belief, and given the feedback that I've gotten from our members, that those certifications are more widely known by employers. So you may, if you're looking for an HR job, you may find that for an HR position, employers will say PHR, SPHR preferred, and they may not say anything about the SHRM CP or SHRM SCP. So I believe that might be a phenomenon occurring on the West Coast. One of our senior leaders said that her understanding is that the HRCI certifications, again, the SPHR and PHR, are more widely known on the West Coast, and employers are looking for those. That's likely due, again, because of the length of time those certifications have been on the marketplace. The other thing is that those certifications kind of test knowledge versus on the SHRM certification, the understanding is that they're more competency-based. So if you're in HR, you know there's not ever like one answer. Or there's a lot of gray areas, and we're dealing with human beings. So the SHRM certification really looks at your competency in a certain area of HR, and thus uses a different scoring method on the exam. We also believe that the SHRM CP and SHRM SCP may be gaining more popularity or more recognition on the East Coast with employers than on the West Coast, because SHRM is headquartered out of DC and has been able to perhaps build brand recognition a little bit higher on the other side of the country. So that, Annie, that is what I know. If you are interested in more information about certifications, please email me, and I could send you some links to webinars that we have had for our members in the past that were given by our contacts at HRCI and SHRM, talking about the various HR certifications. So that's a great question, and I get it a lot. So hopefully, I want to be as unbiased as possible, and it's a tough decision because getting certified is kind of a interesting process, and there's a lot of questions, but just keep going through it and ask lots of people that question. So thank you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about PIHRA and what we offer. So PIHRA, we know HR in California. Our members come to us for California employment law education. Our primary employment law seminar is called the PIHRA Legal Update. We just had those in January. We had 4 locations, and it's very popular, and our members cite our employment law updates as one of the top benefits and areas of value for them as members. There are countless opportunities to network within our chapters and at our seminars. So this is where you're going to come face-to-face with California HR professionals, where you can build your network. You could ask questions about HR certification, because a lot of our volunteer leaders and a lot of the folks that come to our monthly meetings are HR certified. And we have consistent professional development that's accessible to you. I'm going to show you the map of our 17 chapters. So if you're not a member and want to become a member, please go to PIHRA.org/join, and you want to click on the member, and then go through the process. And if you use promo code PIHRA15, you'll get $15 off the $150 membership fee, and that's an annual fee. So you'll be able to pay $135 for your first year. And then every year after, if you renew within your expiration, or by the time you expire, you'll be able to renew at $125 if you are a locally based person. If you're from out of town or outside of our geographical footprint, you will be able to renew at a lower rate. So again, that's really just based on your zip code and address. And we have other membership types as well. So for example, we have a student membership, and we have in-transition membership. So the in-transition membership is for people who are not currently working. And I think it's a great benefit for you to join PIHRA, because this is where you may meet your next employer and start networking. And if you're out of work right now, I also highly suggest you volunteer with us at one of our chapters, because that's how people are going to get to know you and your work ethic and your quality of work. So when a position does open up, they can refer you. So please join if you're not a current member. All right, I'll pause because I see a hand up. Let's see if I see a question associated with that. Okay. I don't see a question, so wait, here's a question. Let's see. Here's a question. Will you be able to volunteer in other ways other than if you are unemployed? Yes, you can. You do not have to be unemployed to volunteer. So there's a slide coming up about volunteerism, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to hold off on that question until I get there. But yes, there's countless ways to volunteer. And you probably want to start volunteering when you do have a job instead of waiting. So my only point there was that, hey, you might have some time if you're looking for a job. I know looking for a job is a full-time job, but you may have a little bit more time than, when you're employed. So yes, I will get into that in a moment. All right, so with your PIHRA membership, so it's $150 a year, I've been able to monetize the value of the membership. And so I have this slide up because we recently expanded our membership benefits, but just on our ThinkHR compliance tool that's online, you're already getting approximately $10,000 worth of value. So let's go through it. And that doesn't include the discounts that you receive at the monthly meetings. It doesn't include the priceless face-to-face connections you're going to make. I mean, you can't meet as many people in other HR associations as you can meet through PIHRA. Again, I focused on the local HR community. It's just you're not going to be able to go anywhere else and meet as many HR folks as you can here. So let's focus on this slide, though. So we have what we call the HR workplace. And our base offering in 2018, you would get a federal employee handbook builder. Now you're getting the 50-state handbook builder. So you would be able to create employee handbooks for each state in which your business employs people. So if you are in Texas, for example, but you employ people in California, you'll be able to build an employee handbook based on any local laws in Texas, and then also build a separate one incorporating, tailoring it to your organization, but also incorporating California law for all those employees at your California locations. In 2008, you got 12 calls to what we call HR Live, and that is a telephone-based consulting service that is operated by senior HR certified individuals, professionals. So you can call them at any time. I think they're open around 10 hours a day from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And you could call them with any questions. Now you're able to call them an unlimited amount of times. And I've called them before. They're great. They follow up with any written background or documentation that you need based on your question. You get the PIHRA Comply, which is an online platform where they have, God, what don't they have there? They have employment law summaries. They have webinars. They have hundreds of memo and policy templates. So, I mean, you could spend hours on there. They also have a job description creation tool, which is cool, and a compensation analysis tool. But the big wow for me on this platform now is the enterprise learning platform. So this, I'm going to get into some detail, but if you were to buy this enterprise-wide learning platform on your own, basically what you're doing is you have an online platform that you as an HR manager can administer online training modules to all of your employees and monitor whether they take the seminar, the module or not. It also includes the mandatory supervisor AB 1825 training, and it's also going to, in March, we have an upcoming course that's going to be added for the new legislation. I'll get into that in a moment. But so just here, you got $10,000 worth of value for your membership. So it's great. I see a question, so I'm going to pause for a second. Let's see. All right. Do you need a company email to use Think HR? Yes, so you can use any email to log in to Think HR. You do not need to have your company's email attached to it. Now, if there's I believe that the enterprise learning platform, employees from only one company can use it. So I believe that the company, that there might be some check and balances there, but you can use a Gmail account, a Yahoo account, or an email with your company domain as well. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about networking. I talk a lot about networking because I think that you don't want to wait to start networking. You never know when that next big opportunity is going to come your way, or when your position at your current place of work isn't going to work out, whether there's a downsizing, an economic downturn, or whatever the case may be. Don't stop networking. I believe that's one of the biggest mistakes people make while they're working. I make the mistake. So please make a commitment to at least once a quarter go to a networking event or contact someone that that in your career that you've worked with and touch base with them. Go to coffee, but really set a goal for yourself, because I don't want you to catch yourself in an economic downturn with no job and no contacts. So that's why this is really important for me to communicate to you. So as I mentioned, there are countless number of ways to connect with PIHRA. Here's our chapter map. So we go as far north. Our chapters meet monthly. There is a separate cost to the monthly meetings. It's around anywhere between $25 and $45, depending on the chapter. So we go as far north as Antelope Valley, which they meet out of Palm Desert, and Ventura County, they meet out of Camarillo. We go as far east as Coachella Valley, and they meet out of Desert Hot Springs. And we go as far south as Southwest Riverside, and that's one of our smaller chapters, as is Antelope Valley. And we go also to South Orange County. They meet out of Newport Beach. South Orange County is our largest chapter. We also just started doing programming. If you're from the San Diego County area, we are starting to do programming in North San Diego County. So we have been talking to a lot of people who are interested in starting a chapter in that area, but nothing's concrete there. But we are doing meetings there. I believe our next meeting, we haven't chosen a location yet, but it'll be probably the May-June timeframe. Our second largest chapter is in downtown Los Angeles, right in the heart of downtown. They meet out of the City Club, and we go as far west as the South Bay. That group is a large and very active group. They meet out of Hawthorne, and our West LA group, it meets out of Brentwood in Century City, in case you're in that area. So plenty opportunities to connect with people through our network of chapters. Please connect. Please meet our members. They're great. I have great friends that I met through PIHRA. I was actually a PIHRA member before I ever dreamed of becoming a staff member, and they were so kind to me and helped me at a time where I was consulting and I really wanted to go internal, and they gave me a lot of exposure and let me introduce myself to the chapter people. And I've gone to the South Bay chapter, and I know at that meeting, for example, they ask if anyone's looking for work, and they also ask if anyone has any open HR positions that they know about so that people can connect directly at the meeting. So please network. Also, great places to network are employment law seminars and our annual conference. I'll be talking a little bit more about our annual conference in a moment, but don't miss out on these opportunities. So I mentioned we have 17 chapters. We have 3 specialty groups. So let's talk a little bit about the PIHRA Foundation. The PIHRA Foundation is its own 501c3 nonprofit. They raise money, funds for scholarships for HR professionals and or those people interested in HR. So they offer scholarships, and they also serve the community through doing, putting together delegations of folks to go to local high schools or junior colleges to do mock interviews and talk to people about their first jobs and how to prepare for that. So they're a great group. The next scholarship window starts in March, so March 15th, and the deadline is April 26th. So please go to that URL on your screen, and you can get up to a $5,000 scholarship toward your HR degree. So if you or you know anybody who is interested in HR and would love to apply for a scholarship, please tell them about the PIHRA Foundation. You do not have to be a member to apply. They also give 2 stipends to the California HR Conference. These stipends are usually for those people who are not employed. So that scholarship submission window opens in May, on May 31st, and then the deadline is July 5th, as it says here. So this is a great group to get involved with. And if you want to volunteer, they're a great group to volunteer with as well. So I see a question. Let me go here and see what the question is. Pausing. Oh, so you got the student scholarship. So Tony, thank you, Tony. I see that you got a scholarship from them. That's great. See? Now you know that this is for real. It's not just me saying that we have scholarships, but yes, great, Tony, congratulations. Okay, so I'm going to move on in a second. Let me just see. Ah, right. He's at College of the Canyons. Yes. I don't think that was so Tony, I don't think that was a PIHRA Foundation scholarship, but I do know Professor Chung. So let's talk afterwards if you want. So what other specialty groups do we have? We have Club PIHRA. Now this is the fun side of HR in my mind. I like to call them the mullet of the PIHRA's mullet because it's all professional in the front and party in the back. And so we have a lot of fun with Club PIHRA. Really, they focus on serving the HR practitioner that is responsible for the holiday party, employee recognition events, the summer picnic, things like that. So they meet quarterly, and during their meetings, they also do a program. So there's this program coming up on March 7th. They're having an employment law update, so you can get recertification credit at the program. But they also do a vendor fair. So if you're looking for different venues, and they'll have it at a venue. So like this one is at the Pirates Dinner Adventure in Buena Park. So you can meet people from there to see, if they can provide you with some pricing, and you can get a sense of what an event would look like there. And also they'll introduce you to event hosts and providers. So for example, if you want to put a casino night together, they'll have folks that are able to help you with that there, so you can meet them and get some pricing and just network with those folks. The great thing about these events is that when you go, you'll do the fair, you'll meet the people from the venue there, you'll meet other folks that do events, but you'll also be able to participate in whatever attraction is at the event you're at. So you'll be, I'm sure, able to do a pirate dinner, and it's really affordable. For $35, one time they all went to Magic Mountain. They did the fair, they did the meal, they did the program, the professional development program, and then you were able to go into Magic Mountain, all for $35 for the day. So I was even thinking of buying my daughter that ticket, dragging her along so we can go to Magic Mountain together that day. So they're a great group. Let me check time. I usually talk a lot, so yeah, I'm running late. PIHRA Young Professionals. This is a group very dear to my heart. I helped launch the Young Professionals program in 2015. And they took the ball and ran. So their next event is the Future of HR and You on March 14th. Oh, and it's going to start at 6:30, and that should say in the South Bay. So sorry, it says in the South, but they're gonna. They don't have a exact venue yet, but it will be in the South Bay. So for those of you who are in the South Bay, come check them out. It is young professionals, but they don't exclude anybody. You might feel, if you're like my age, you might feel a little out of place, but they're very welcoming, and they're a great group. I'm really proud of that group. So I promised I would tell you a little bit about volunteer opportunities. So there are all kinds of ways for you to volunteer. You can volunteer kind of in an ad hoc manner by applying to volunteer at the California HR Conference. If you're interested in that, you could always go to PIHRA.org/volunteer or email me at membership@PIHRA.org, and I will let you know how to go about getting on the distribution list for that volunteer application. You can go to one of our chapters and say, hey, I'm not sure if I'm able to take on a board position, but do you have any committees I could be on? Like, can I make calls for you to remind people to renew? Or do you have a networking event that I can volunteer at or help put together? That's how I got involved when I was a PIHRA member. You can then decide, hey, you know what, I want a more regular role, volunteer role, and that's really where you're going to hone your leadership skills and gain exposure in our community by taking on a board seat at the chapter level. So you could be a program chair, a membership chair, hospitality, the treasurer, secretary, or even the chair, vice chair. So, and then from there you can grow and get on the larger board that governs the entire association. So lots of ways to volunteer. Don't let anything hold you back. I want to talk about some online networking. So you'll see this in the slide deck you'll get. So you can network if you're not comfortable. I'm pretty shy and a little socially awkward. So these online networking tools are great for me. So please take advantage of those as well. So I need to update the slide because actually our interface on the back doesn't look like this anymore. So I apologize. So I'm going to just brush this over. Basically, you'll want to go to our website, which isn't on here, and go to member resources and how to figure out how to maneuver around the back end, or always just reach out to me. So some learning. I talked about all members get a discount on the monthly meetings and on the conferences. So you'll get at least $15 off any of the monthly meetings that you attend with your membership. Non-members pay a higher price. You also get discounted rates at our seminars and conferences. So here's the California HR Conference. It is the highlight of my year, and it should be on your training budget. If you have a training budget and have not decided what conference you want to attend, please come to the California HR Conference. We have over 70 learning sessions and 6 different tracks that include HR strategy, employment law, total rewards and compensation, global HR, leadership, and your personal development. On top of that, there are at least 3 or 4 major social receptions that you could attend. We just have a blast there. We have an exhibit hall that is full of HR partners that you might want to seek out, especially if you're a smaller HR department, people that are there to help you through the HR function and be efficient. So please, right now we have a preview rate of $749 going on until the end of this month. So please talk to your supervisors about that. And if you need any help convincing them, please let us know and we'll help you with that. All right, so I am 2 minutes away. I'm going to skip a couple things just to, we have some online learning, but these tools is what I wanted to get to. So this is the Think HR toolkit that we have. We call PIHRA Workplace. So PIHRA, this is how you access it. So it's a separate login at this time. I'm actually working on a single sign-on. So when you sign on to PIHRA, you'll be able to automatically be on to Think HR, but right now it isn't. So if you have any trouble, let me know. We talked about PIHRA Live, so 11 hours of telephone advice by a senior certified HR professional. We have PIHRA Comply. It has a job description builder, the employee handbook builder, a performance management review tool, just all kinds of goodies in there. PIHRA Learn, now this is included this year. This is worth at least $10,000. You'll be able to create learning tracks. So for example, if you're in the manufacturing industry and you want to put together a series of safety and OSHA compliant trainings, you can do that and administer it to your employees. That would be your students. And you could also check their progress, and they can print out their own certificates when they complete it. So this is just, I can't talk enough about this. We have a career center. We have also a career transition support tool. So our members get 6 months free of this career transition support software. If you have any questions about this, let me know. If you are eligible, you can maybe even get free customized training for your organization. And we have member discounts, and you'll get this all in the slide. This is what I was talking about. If you have any trouble and questions about how to use the PIHRA platform. Now, this is not the Think HR platform. It's the PIHRA platform. You can go to member resources, website FAQs, and the how-to guides. And, just some stuff about the communications you'll receive. This is our contact list. So if you need to contact us, you can reach out to us. And, yeah, please connect with us. I'm sorry if I feel like this was rushed, but I have one last thing. So I'm going to give you a trivia question, and the first person who answers in the chat box wins the PIHRA Padfolio, okay? So before you leave, if you could tell me in what year PIHRA was established, you'll win. All right, I got some questions. I got some question marks here. Let's see. It's going to take a second. And this up. Tony, you won. 1944 is when PIHRA was established. So Tony, I'm going to send you an email right after this and confirm your address to send this over to you. And oh, you're a World War II fan. Oh, interesting. Thank you for being on the webinar today with me. I will send you all the slides. If you have any questions, you'll have my email, but it's membership@PIHRA.org. And please let me know how I can help you get the most out of your PIHRA membership. Have a great afternoon and a great Valentine's Day. Take care.